And Jesse, let's start with you. You know, Iran could have, after Operation Midnight Hammer, said, okay, you got us. Like, obviously, the pagers, the nuclear program, they could have said, all right, let us take a beat here. But they didn't. They continued to press on the gas. And this led to this moment. And now they don't even exist anymore.
So when I saw the news we were going to war, I kind of had an uneasy feeling in the pit of my stomach. This is a very ambitious operation. It's unpredictable. It's extremely dangerous. But I have to just trust the commander-in-chief. He has an excellent track record with foreign policy. And so far, the operation has been incredible. And our military is far, far superior. You're exactly right. The Ayatollah should have taken the deal after Midnight Hammer. Instead, he was playing cat and mouse with enrichment. And as they say in golf, Donald Trump did not come here to lay up. He inherited a mess. And he saw a window of opportunity. He set a deadline, and he took action. And hopefully he's successful. And if he is, Americans for generations will benefit. So who takes power now in Iran? I have no idea. Is it a hardliner? Is it someone like the number 2 in Venezuela that we can do business with? Or are the people going to rise up? It's hard when you don't have any weapons and you live in a police state. So Trump will try to shape what happens on the ground from the carriers, and I'm sure the CIA is going to be passing a lot of cash around. How does this affect the American people? Well, the market opened lower, and then it snapped back and closed about flat. Oil prices are up, gas prices at the pump, they're going to jump, and mortgage rates are already ticking up. So in the short term, you're going to see a little inflation. But if it's a successful operation, prices are going to go way, way down, and the stock market is going to rip. Russia's not going to have a supply of drones that they're using to just decimate Ukraine, so that's going to push them towards peace. And the Chinese aren't going to be able to suck up all that cheap sanctioned Iranian oil. And we'll have full control over the oil-rich Middle East, and then we can pivot to the Pacific and stare down Beijing. But until then, you just pray for the boys, you pray for the president, and hope everything goes well.
And you'll have the vice president on tonight.
We will.
Pray for the girls, too, right?
And for the men and women and the girls.
And the girls, indeed. Joey, when we just had that update from Trey Yingst about what Israel is trying to do tonight, what do you think about that in terms of the technology they have today that they didn't have before and the intelligence? And do we have and the Israelis have air superiority over that entire country yet?
That's what we've been told. We've been told we do. I think there was a good point. I think Trey might have been one that made it today. That maybe it wasn't. That said, listen, they're going after the launch capabilities of the missiles. They could have 100 of them in a cave, but if they can't launch them, they're effectively useless. And so the strategy here is incredibly intel-driven. And I kind of want to harp on what you were just talking about. In my opinion, and this is just me looking at it, nuclear weapons is a great way to make this politically palatable on the world stage. This is about China. It starts and ends with China. I mean, every leader we have in our military right now believes their job is to prepare for a war in the Pacific. The entire Marine Corps was restructured for this a few years ago, going into 2030. You look at what President Trump has done, and you hit on it, and it's absolutely true. If you have the resources and wealth of the Middle East on your side, and we enter into a world war where it's North Korea, Russia, and China, that is a tremendous asset, probably in this day and age more so than even Europe. When you've taken out in a month's time more than 20% or upwards of 20% of China's import oil, when you've taken away China's doorway for influence in the Middle East, which is Iran, and not only that, but the biggest problem that Russia is going to have is who's been making their drones and missiles. When we talk about missile manufacturing, it's not just the missiles that Iran manufactures to stockpile to hit Israel with. It's the missiles that Russia is using to hit Ukraine with. This is also a big purchaser of technology and weapons from China. And so I truly believe this is all a part of President Trump's chess game with China. I think there is an immediate threat with Iran, but, I mean, they've said it to our faces and we haven't listened. This is the best time. The fight might have been in 5 years, but what a world could we live in where we don't wait those 5 years until it really hurts us? I applaud them for it because they're going to take a lot of arrows on the politics and on the even diplomacy. And you saw how the UK reacted. They're going to take a lot of arrows for this, but it is truly, it's almost similar to how we have said, listen, it's going to hurt a little bit, but we're bringing manufacturing back. We're going to use these tariffs. You're not going to be happy about it for a year or two, but it's going to set us up for success. I believe this is a part of that same ideology when it comes to leading this country for the next 100 years. What do we always complain about? We get 4-year plans, not 100-year plans. This is a 100-year plan.
Yeah.
And the smartest thing other politicians could do is buy in on it, because it will absolutely lead to our prosperity and longevity, our security for the next 100 years.
All right, Jessica, I haven't heard from you yet.
Yeah. So you said, Joey, this is the best time to do it. And I think that the problem that the American public has with what's gone on, and these are people who vote like me and people who vote like Jesse, is that our government has not made that case to us. And Secretary Rubio was out there giving a press conference, and I think he was by far and away the best representative of the administration to do it, had the most level of clarity. And that's because he admitted it finally that Israel decided to do this, and we went along for the ride. We have heard so many conflicting stories, and that's why you have strong MAGA supporters from Megyn Kelly to the Matt Walshes of the world saying, excuse me, wait a minute, this is confusing and not what we signed up for the peace president, right? No boots on the ground. Now we have 6 dead service members. But we heard about Iran's nuclear capacities. We heard about what's going on with the ballistic missiles. We heard they're going to attack us. But the truth is that Israel was going to go in, and then they were going to attack us because of what our ally was doing. So the decisions that are being made are being orchestrated by Bibi Netanyahu. We have a strong partnership with them for sure, but that's why Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff are central players in this again, because they are the Bibi whisperers, as it were. President Trump is all over the map in what he's saying is going on here. I mean, I was following, he called like every reporter in his phone or however he keeps his Rolodex, and we had everything from 2 to 3 days. I want freedom for the Iranian people, 4 to 5 weeks. We had new people that we wanted to fill the Ayatollah spot, but we killed all of our best options. So what next? And we're all left here sitting wondering what's next. And bringing us back to where I started with Netanyahu, this is his plan. They were the ones who decided they wanted to take out the Ayatollah. We didn't decide that. So while we may sit here and say we don't want regime change, Israel does. And Israel is the one who is out front here. Otherwise, they wouldn't have taken him out.
Just real quick, and I know you didn't mean it in any other way, but if the first time we're going to mention 6 dead heroes on this show is right now, I don't want it to be from a political standpoint. I want it to be from we honor them, and we know that that sacrifice will mean something. I know you meant that, but it's important for me to say it.
That's fine, and I made sure, or I was trying to make sure that I communicated in that way, because we were. Yeah. In the introduction, it was mentioned
Charlie,
as well. There was no disrespect.
Charlie, as you and I think, are the senior members of the team here today, but you've covered several of these conflicts, right? And there's been complaints from either side of the aisle about, does the president actually have the power to do that? And over again, it's like, yes, he does. That doesn't, he's not required by law to necessarily explain it in a particular way for any particular group. But some of the Democrats who are complaining that he doesn't have the power, they didn't feel that way when Barack Obama did it in Libya.
Yeah, and of course, these are also the same Democrats who have been supporting an open borders for the last 4 years prior to the last year. So I seriously, just sit down. It's kind of obnoxious to even have to listen to it. Every president since Thomas Jefferson has believed that the president has the authority to do this from either party. The question to me, I think, is about the timing, whether or not the time, because every president of our lifetimes has believed that Iran was a terrible force in the world and has attacked Iran indirectly, either through proxies or going after allies. Donald Trump, in typical Trump fashion, walks in and says, you know what, actually, I'm not going to fight a proxy. I'm going to go directly and cut off the head of the snake. And now I have a lot of, like you were saying, Jesse, I have a lot of, like, I'm very nervous. I don't like this. I don't want to be in a war. I don't want to have boots on the ground. I don't want to lose soldiers. But you can't say that that's a wild departure from every single president of either party of our lifetimes. It's not. He's just being very direct about it. And I think he's been very clear about what he wants. And as Pete Hegseth said today, this is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change. That's true. He is, but the president is very focused on the issue of a nuclear weapon. And every time he talks about the environment, he talks about the N-word, nuclear. That's what he's worried about when it comes to the environment. It's what he's worried about when it comes to geopolitics. And you look at how Iran has responded, and you have to recognize that he's probably right about this. These people are lunatics. We've known that for a long time. If they have a nuclear weapon, that's a total global game changer. Look at what they did. On Friday night, Saturday morning, they woke up. 2 countries were at war with them. By midday Saturday, they were at war with 9 countries.
Right.
These people are freaking nuts. And that's also very scary. It's proof that of the need to probably make sure they don't ever get a nuclear weapon. But it's also terrifying because a country that has absolutely nothing to lose and is willing to do this to themselves, to their population, is a country that has to be taken very seriously. And I thank the Lord that it is President Trump and the team he's put together that is making these decisions, and not Barack Obama or Joe Biden or somebody else who doesn't understand what's at stake the way I think the president does.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.